Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this particular video, I'd like to talk about a movie that is a veritable modern-age classic, at least as far as I'm concerned, that has hilarity and hijinks, action and suspense, mobsters and movie-making. Barry Sonnenfeld's 1995 film, Get Shorty. Based on the book by Elmore Leonard, this is a movie that has charm and wit and suspense, and an all-star cast, the likes of which include John Travolta as the main character, Chili Palmer, as well as Gene Hackman, Rene Russo, Danny DeVito, Dennis Farina, Delroy Lindo, James Gandolfini, David Paymer, and big-time stars like Harvey Keitel, Bette Midler, and Alex Rocco, who you may most recognize as Mo Green from The Godfather, making cameo appearances. And this is just an awesome flick. Essentially, it's telling the story of the Shylock, or loan shark, that is Chili Palmer, who's looking to get out of his business of chasing down money for mobsters when his boss back in New York dies while he's been on the job in Miami. And Dennis Farina comes along, who's like the up-and-coming, hit guy for one of the other rival bosses who's taking over this guy's area, and he's now dishing out orders to Chili Palmer. So essentially he sends him to Vegas looking for this wise guy who faked his death, or at least took advantage of the fact that he wasn't on a plane that crashed to make it seem like he died, and ran off with the insurance money that his wife was given, $300,000, and basically hasn't been heard from since. So Chili, this guy leaves a trail that Chili follows out to Vegas, and once he sets his sights on this guy, basically he's turned on to a whole nother bigger and better game, going out to L.A., where he's looking for more money, for more bad guys and stuff like that, trying to settle people's scores, as is his job requirement. He goes out to L.A. and he meets Gene Hackman's character, which is this sort of B-movie sci-fi director guy, and the thing that's hilarious about Hackman is, if you listen to the commentary track on this particular film, he's got his goatee, he's got his whitened teeth. He really thinks of himself as a high and mighty artist. He's making B-movie films, but they are classical film pieces as far as he's concerned. And Chili also meets his ex, which happens to be a former B-movie actress in many of this guy's movies, as portrayed by Rene Russo, that he's suddenly smitten with. Chili Palmer is a guy who actually has a real love and passion for movies. He's a movie buff, and he's seen many classical films, so he knows this woman's, repertoire from inside and out, and he's just smitten. There's a romance going on with these two characters. Meanwhile, this guy, this director, has been up to his till with mob money that he now has to make up for. So you have these mobsters, the lead guy of which is portrayed by Delroy Lindo, who's looking for their payout, their due. And part of their money has been sunk into a movie project that's just not being made by Gene Hackman's character. So they're coming calling, they want their payments. And essentially Chili Palmer's just set in the middle of all of this. And suddenly he realizes, he has this awakening desire to get out of being a Shylock, a loan shark, chasing down these dollars. He decides, hey, I'm talking to a director. Why not pitch him a movie? So hilarity ensues because, of course, he's trying to set up deals with this director. He's trying to keep the mobsters at bay. He's got cops on him. He's got drug smugglers on the other side. It is just havoc. You have great appearances from, like I say, James Gandolfini as a former, movie stuntman turned basically thug for this particular mobster drug runner. And basically Chili walks up to him, knocks him out, throws him down a flight of stairs, and he's like, you're working for the wrong guy. You should be looking for bigger and brighter things. And it's just every one of these cast members in this film is perfectly cast and attuned to exploit and just expound upon their on-screen talents. It couldn't be more pitch perfect. It's like a well-oiled machine of a film, and I just absolutely love it. Of course, without wanting to spoil the ending and all the ins and outs, and people are getting whacked left and right, and I won't exactly explain how all that plays out. I'll leave that for a surprise. What I will say is a cool little, sort of anecdote about this film is, of course, Danny DeVito appears in this film. He's basically playing a big-time actor within the universe of the film who's been in films such as, Napoleon, because of his short stature and everything like that. And there's this great scene between he and Chili where Chili's essentially trying to talk him into this movie script that the director, that is Gene Hackman's character, believes is solid gold, But in their talking, he's basically relating all of his mobster stuff, all of his Shylock, running after people for money. And Danny DeVito's character is kind of mistaking, that's the movie he thinks they're making. So he's trying to get into the mind, into the zone of the character that is being being represented through what, Travolta's character is talking about, thinking of himself as being Travolta. And there's this great funny segment where, he's trying to get this ominous look down in his eyes, and it only turns out when he goes expressionless that he nails it, But essentially what I find fascinating about this is, according to the commentary track by Barry Sonnenfeld, essentially, when they were making this movie, pre-production, was 2 years before it actually got filmed. Danny DeVito was the guy they had brought in to read the character of Chili Palmer. And here he is in this film, the final completed product, where John Travolta is playing that character, but the movie they're making within the movie has Danny DeVito playing the character. So it's just really awesome and funny how that all turned out. And, I just can't say enough high praise about this particular film. I love a lot of Sonnenfeld's work that I've come across, from Men in Black to stuff like that, Addams Family, which I've talked about in a previous video. And the comedy and humor of this particular film is very much in the vein of things I've talked about previously, like Midnight Run and Maid and the like. It's just awesome from beginning to end. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this particular film. Get Shorty if you've ever seen it. If not, I highly recommend you check it out at your first opportunity. And I'd love to hear from you what you thought of it after the fact. Otherwise, that'll be it for me, and I hope this video finds you well. And I'll catch you later. Peace.